History, they say, is written by the victors, a neat, sanitized narrative, crafted to glorify the conqueror and demonize the vanquished. But what if there are chapters deliberately torn from the annals? Truths too unsettling, too horrifying, to ever see the light of day. Tonight, we unearth one such chapter. We journey to the heart of an ancient empire, a civilization of unparalleled power and innovation, whose very existence was built upon a foundation of unspeakable horror. This is the story of Carthage, a city that appeased its gods not with prayers, but with fire. This is the truth of the Tophet, the mass grave where innocence met its fiery end, all for the insatiable hunger of Baal Hammon. Prepare yourselves, for the history you thought you knew is about to burn. From the sun-baked shores of ancient Phoenicia, a new power emerged, its sails billowing with ambition. Carthage, a jewel of the Mediterranean, rose from humble beginnings as a trading post to become an economic and military titan, rivaling even the burgeoning might of Rome. Its fleets commanded the seas, its merchants amassed unimaginable wealth, and its engineers crafted wonders. At the heart of this formidable civilization lay a complex religious landscape, dominated by two supreme deities, the nurturing fertility goddess, Tanit, and her fearsome male counterpart, Baal Hammon. He was the lord of the altar, the protector of the city, and the arbiter of its fate. But Baal Hammon was a god of immense and terrifying demands, a deity whose blessings came at an unthinkable price, a price paid in the most innocent of lives. For centuries, the whispers persisted, tales of Carthaginian barbarity dismissed as Roman propaganda. Then, in the twilight of the 19th century, beneath the sands of what is now modern Tunisia, a discovery was made that would forever shatter the curated image of Carthage. Archaeologists unearthed a vast, eerie necropolis unlike any other. They called it the Tophet of Salambo. This was no ordinary cemetery. Spanning thousands of square meters, it was a densely packed field of pottery urns, each meticulously interred beneath a carved stone stele. Thousands upon thousands of these markers stood silent vigil. This sacred enclosure, distinct from common burial grounds, spoke of a ritualistic purpose, a place set apart for a singular, chilling practice that defied all known norms of ancient funerary rites. What truly lay within those urns, and what dark purpose did this hallowed ground serve? Initial academic reactions were a tempest of denial. Surely these were merely children who died of natural causes, perhaps plague victims, buried with solemn ceremony. The grotesque accounts from Greek and Roman historians, tales of Carthaginian parents sacrificing their offspring to appease a bloodthirsty god, were vehemently dismissed as biased fabrications, the vitriol of victorious enemies. Scholars argued fiercely, clinging to the notion that such enlightened people could never engage in such depravity. But as the excavations continued, as more Tophets were found across former Carthaginian territories, and as scientific analysis advanced, the truth began its slow, agonizing ascent from the dust. The sheer volume of remains, the precise age ranges, and the complete lack of skeletal pathology that would indicate widespread disease, all conspired against the comfortable academic consensus. The evidence, stark and undeniable, was starting to speak. The true horror of the Tophet was not merely its scale, but its contents. Inside the thousands of urns, meticulously sealed and buried, lay the calcified remains of human infants and very young children, often mingled with the bones of sacrificed lambs or goat kids. Forensic analysis, using the most advanced techniques available, painted a grim picture. The children, overwhelmingly, were neonates, many no older than a few months, some even stillborn or only days old. Crucially, studies revealed no widespread evidence of congenital defects or illness that might explain their premature demise. These were not children taken by natural causes in vast numbers. These were healthy, innocent lives extinguished before they could even utter their first words. The bones bore the unmistakable marks of intense heat, charred fragments within the clay vessels, silent testimony to their fiery immolation. This was a place where life was given, not taken by nature but offered, in a horrifying transaction with the divine. The purpose of this chilling ritual, now undeniable in the face of overwhelming archaeological evidence, was an act of profound and terrifying devotion. The mulk, a burnt offering, a human sacrifice, designed to appease Baal Hammon and secure his favor. Carthaginian society, facing constant threats from rivals like Syracuse and Rome, or suffering from famine and disease, would turn to this ultimate act of propitiation. Parents, driven by fear, superstition, or perhaps a warped sense of religious duty, would present their most precious possession to the flames. The child, sometimes drugged or muted to prevent cries, would be placed upon a brazier or within a sacrificial fire pit, its innocent life ascending in smoke to the heavens, a desperate plea for divine intervention. This was not murder in a fit of rage, but a cold, calculated religious rite, sanctioned by priests, and perhaps even witnessed by the community. Each stela within the Tophet tells a story, though its language is coded in stone. These upright slabs, thousands of them, varied from simple, unadorned markers to intricately carved monuments depicting symbols of Baal Hammon and Tanakh, often with an open hand gesturing in blessing or protection. Many bore inscriptions, brief dedications in the Punic language, to the Lord Baal Hammon and to Tanakh face of Baal, which was dedicated by son of because they heard his voice. These dedications were not laments for a lost child, but declarations of fulfillment. The parent had made their offering, and the gods had presumably responded. The stele served as a physical record, legitimizing the horror, transforming an act of profound violence into a sacred contract between humanity and the divine, etched forever in the landscape of death. To comprehend the full implications of the Tophet is to peer into the very soul of Carthaginian society. This was not an isolated act of a deranged few, but a sustained, institutionalized practice spanning centuries. What kind of society can not only tolerate, but actively participate in, the ritualistic burning of its own children? It speaks of a profound spiritual terror, where the fear of divine wrath outweighed even the most primal parental instinct. It suggests a culture deeply ingrained with the belief that only the most extreme sacrifice could guarantee survival, prosperity, and the continued favor of their gods. Carthage, with its sophisticated urban planning, its powerful navy, its intricate trade networks, harbored a darkness at its core, a chilling juxtaposition of advanced civilization, in what many today would deem unimaginable barbarity. The legacy of the Tophet casts a long, dark shadow over Carthage's memory. Was this horrific practice a contributing factor to the relentless Roman enmity, providing powerful moral justification for their campaigns of annihilation? Or was it an internal moral decay, a festering wound that ultimately contributed to the empire's downfall? The victors, Rome, certainly used these accounts of child sacrifice to paint Carthage as an inhuman, barbaric foe, unfit to exist. While we must always be wary of propaganda, the archaeological evidence of the Tophet provides a horrifying basis for at least some of these ancient accusations. The truth, as always, is complex, but one thing remains clear. The echoes of the screams from the fiery altars of Baal Hammon still haunt the ruins of this once mighty empire, a stark reminder of the dark paths humanity can tread in the name of faith. History indeed is written by the victors. They craft the narratives, gloss over their own atrocities, and amplify the sins of the conquered. But the earth itself holds truths that no victor can bury forever. The Tophet of Carthage stands as a stark, petrified testament to a chapter of human history deliberately omitted from the official record, a truth too raw, too disturbing for casual consumption. The 8th chapter exists to unearth these forbidden stories, to challenge the comfortable lies, and to confront the uncomfortable realities of our past. For only by facing the darkest truths can we truly understand the full, terrifying spectrum of the human experience. And the fire that consumed the innocent in Carthage reminds us that the line between devotion and monstrosity can be horrifyingly thin.